to say goodbye.
It's hard to say I miss you.
The time of love
Is a gruesome cruise.
I need you now, dear Lord.
The loss of a loved one through suicide can become a problem. It is a very difficult thing to deal with, especially when you have studied the mind and now you get to a situation where you've missed the clues and the cues that somebody wanted to do that kind of a thing. And today in the studio, I have Jackie to talk about that kind of experience. Welcome to the show, Jackie.
Thank you for having me, Pastor.
Thank you. People would want to know who they are talking to. If you.
Okay. My name is Jacqueline Nkomo, the one and only child of Mr. and Mrs. E.S. Nkomo. I'm from Blair, you know that.
Yes.
So I did psychology, as you say, in MSU, and then I did my master's in another faculty in economics in China. But I'm mostly interested in psychology because it's easier to talk to people and to understand them at their level.
So what really motivated you to do psychology?
I've always been interested in the brain. So in the beginning, I'd say I wanted to do physiotherapy. Then I thought, nah, that's not enough. Then I decided on doing psychology so that I can understand people, their emotions, the way they behave in different situations. And psychology was the only option for me. It could give me that. So that's why then I decided, no, let me go for psychology.
What is the connection between psychology and being the only daughter?
You know, being the only child, it's hard. It's hard.
Yes.
You see, like this thing, depression, you'll be depressed because for me, I was in boarding school. So you'll see on visiting days, some children are with their siblings and stuff. And for me, my mom is the one who's coming to visit me. Only my mom, you know. So it was hard. But then I thank God when I went to Matopo, he gave me a sister. I'm sure you know her, Tandega. So that thing of having a sibling, I no longer had a problem with it anymore. She was my God-given sister. So, but psychology made me to be able to deal with my alone time, how to navigate in the world as an only child. And to be able, sometimes I talk alone, yes, it's funny, but it makes me understand myself before trying to understand someone else.
Okay, right. So this will be positive self-talk or negative self-talk?
Positive.
Positive self-talk.
Yes.
And now, as the only child and meeting other children who sometimes withdraw, maybe not as being the only child, what has been your experience in trying to help those children?
Mostly I noticed middle children, they always have a problem because they feel like they don't get enough attention from their parents, you know, or even from their siblings. So it was easy, I think, for me to even like relate to those people and make them understand that you are important even if you are the middle child. You're important because your absence, they feel it. You know, that's why sometimes I find when you're at school, they make sure they come and visit you. When you're out of the country, they call just to check up on you.
Thank you very much for sharing that bit about yourself as being the only child. Please stay tuned as we wait for the story in detail. Welcome back to the second segment of the show, Painful Goodbyes. We are talking about losing a loved one through suicide, and we have a friend who has studied psychology and We are going to talk about that in this segment. Now, at school, you developed female friends and male friends. You want to talk about female friends and then male friends?
Okay. Most of my friends that I still have now are from school.
Okay.
So, but one of my closest friends, I started being friends with him, I think in 2011 when I did my A-level at school, secondary school in Lopengla West. And we were so close, we were so close. But the friendship started out funny because I think, when they're going to a new school, the former students at that school, they'll be knowing each other.
Okay.
And I was the only one standing out. Okay. So he just approached me and I was like, what's your name and why are you sitting alone? I just told him my name and that's how we started talking. And he was so friendly. And then over the period of time, we became close friends. And then I remember he went to university before me. I was still undecided on what I wanted to start. Because I told you, I wanted to do physiotherapy at first.
Yeah.
So my mom was like, decide first what you want to do. Don't just go to school and just have that thought that I'm in university. And then he was doing English language at Lupane State. Unfortunately, ended up dropping out because of fees.
Okay.
And then he went to do his police training. And then the following year, I went to school. So now he was living vicariously through me, studying through me. How is university, how is MSU and stuff like that. Until I finished and he finished his training. We were still friends. Then I did my master's. I went to China. He was still here. And then the next thing, you'd call, trust, being far from home is hard.
Yeah.
And each time, you're like, at least you're somewhere, I wish I was here, I wish I could be there. Don't worry, 3 years will be over soon and we'll talk. Each time you'd encourage me. Yeah. Even sometimes, I remember this one time at school, they were like, we think you guys have to go and stay off campus. They just gave us 24 hours to leave the campus. And I called them, I'm like, my friend, I don't even have money for rentals. Imagine I'm in China, he's in Zim. I'm telling him I don't have money for rentals. They're like, no problem, I've got $50, I can send it to you. And he sent it there and there. He didn't even think twice about it. And then when I was now staying off campus, I was telling him life off campus is expensive. And he's like, but when I have a mind for business, so let's start a business. And then that's how we started Isihandu. Most people know it. It's like a camping and trekking shop, but it's an online shop. So that's how we started that thing. And then we'll send pictures, buy these things and send them to Zim. I don't want you to come to Zim with nothing. At least let's do this thing. So we started a shop. Just the two of us. Okay,
you're right. Yes. Just backtracking a bit, he found you when you were sitting alone. Yes. This alone time. You want to talk about that and how that really made you a strong bond?
I was in a new school. I didn't even know anyone. And I was like, I only came here to start. So let me just focus on my books and stuff. And for him to have that courage to approach me, because most people say, Jackie, you are one unapproachable person. He approached me, sat next to me, started asking me, what's your name and stuff like that. And we started talking. And I think the whole day we were actually sitting together. And then when we were knocking off, I realized that we used the same road to school. And that's how we started. When we're going to school, we go together. When we are going back home, we go together. And that's how, over time, we became best of friends.
What are the fondest memories that you still have, maybe from childhood, from school, from high school with him?
First was abusive. When they say sometimes friends abuse you, just to call you in the middle of the night, just to talk. And then sometimes, you panic obviously when someone calls you after 12. Panic my friend, is everything okay? And it's like, it's okay, I'm just checking up on you. I can't sleep, so now I will be sleeping when I'm up. So now we have to talk. Like even when I was in China, he knew like time zone, 6 hours ahead. First he'll call me 2 a.m. We'll talk, and then sometimes when he's writing assignments, okay, I have a bit of an idea of English language and program at LSU. So I'm like, well, now you've done this thing before, so how about you teach me, write for me? And then I'll be like, okay, sometimes I'll send the document. And then he'll call me 2 a.m. I don't understand what he wrote. Try to explain to me. So imagine, from sometimes 2 a.m. until 6 a.m., I'm trying to explain to him, this topic, you talk about this thing. You have to explain like this. When you come here, explain like this. Even his final year, when he was writing like his dissertation, he'd like, write for me. Then he'll explain so that at least when I go and defend, I'll be knowing what to defend. So my friend was too much. That was too much. I even remember telling him, when you're now writing acknowledgements, I should be the first, write my name first, and acknowledge me like maybe a paragraph, just thanking me because I literally did a sticker for you. And like he'll pay attention sometimes, even if I don't want to talk, he'll be like, oh, I don't want to talk. And one thing I liked about him, sometimes he'll come and visit me at home. And he'll tell you, no, today I don't want to talk, I just want to sit down with you. Sometimes we'll watch TV, sometimes we'll be taking pictures, just maybe for something like 2 hours, then he'll leave. And for me, that would be like something like, okay, I was so bored, even though we didn't talk about anything, just having him around would go a long way. Like it was all that I needed. Just having him around, it was okay.
And now there was this unfortunate day when you got the news. Maybe let's talk about the days before the unfortunate day, the events that followed that day when he committed suicide.
That was something that I didn't even see coming. That wasn't even the last thing. It wasn't even on my mind, about say. Because I think when I came back, he was always busy, but that was just trust for me. Sometimes he'd tell me, I'm working in Plumtree. I'm just passing through Playa. I won't be able to see you. And then we'll talk on the phone. As usual, our conversations on the phone, our calls, 2 hours, which was like normal for us. And then a few weeks before he passed on, he sent like a meme about Lobola and stuff. And I was like, my friend, you are dead. You should get married before me, right? And I was asking me, why would you say that? I'm like, you are the man, fella, so you should get married before me and stuff like that. Then I was like, I'm thinking about it. And then a few days later, he's like, but you know this thing that you're talking about? You're actually all right. Let's start planning this Lobola thing. So we started being serious about that Lobola thing. And then he's like, so how much do you think we should budget? Then I started asking around. So I was like, they're saying if you want to pay, at least you should have this amount. So I was like, by December, we'd raise that amount. So that was what we like talking about. And then on a Friday, he calls me. He's like, guess which type of meat I'm eating today. So I started guessing all the types of meat. He's like, by the way, you're an Adventist, so obviously you'll be naming all these common ones. I'm eating crocodile meat. I'm like, what did you get that? He's like, I'm in Big Fools and stuff. And we just spoke about it. And for some reason that day, I recorded like our video call. I had never recorded a video call, but that day I recorded a video call. And then I was like, I'll see you when you come. Maybe like, I'll be in Blawayo on Saturday. I was like, okay. Saturday I went to church. I forgot about it. I went to church. And then on Sunday, he's like, I'm in Blawayo, but I want to go out with some other guys. I'll call you when I come back. I was like, it's fine. And then I was on Facebook, just scrolling those video reels on Facebook. And then I saw this funny video of some wedding that was happening, and then there was drama in it. So instead of me forwarding as usual, I wanted to call him. Then I was like, I'll call him later since it said it is going out. I didn't call on Sunday. And then Monday morning around 6, I called him. I was like, yeah, this one usually calls me early. They let me wake him up. I called him. And then his phone is like call forwarding because he had 2 numbers. His phone says call forwarding. I was like, maybe he's sleeping. I just didn't call the other number. I woke up, started tidying the house, then took my bath, sat down. And then 7, I think it was around past 7, his young brother calls me. He's like, Dase, trust is gone. Trust is gone. Gone away. And then he drops the call. Like, you're leaving me hanging, what's going on? And then I check on Facebook, because I was always posting memes. I check on Facebook, then Ish, the young brother, is the one who posted that, I can't believe this, my brother has just passed on, and then he writes the full name of it, and is trusting, and he has gone. I regret to say this. Like, and then people are commenting like, why you guys love joking around? Because they love joking around. You guys love joking around. How can you say trust is gone? What's going on? And then I call Mam Tembo, one of our friends. I'm like, Mam Tembo, what's going on? He's like, I don't know. Only you can tell us. I'm like, my friend, I don't even know anything. Let me ask. Then I tried calling Ish again. He was no longer answering. Then I left it. Then I went out to see one of my friends. I'm like, someone just called me and said this. I don't know how far true it is. And they're like, we're seeing it on Facebook because most people are now posting about it. And then I called one of my friends as a policeman, and he confirmed, like, yeah, it's true.
It's true.
It's gone. I'm like, what happened? They can't tell me what happened. So now I'm guessing, like, but this, I was talking to this person yesterday. What could have happened? And his last scene was showing 2 a.m. And I'm like, but it's usually his time. It's always a line around that time. So I think Ish called me back around 10, 11 and told me, Trust committed suicide. I was asking how? Why? And Ish was also saying, I don't even know. And he didn't even leave a note. He just hung himself. And that was it. That was gone.
And now, you're still in denial, and you're shocked, and you have these mixed feelings. What was your first response after you confirmed that this is true?
I was in shock. I can still remember, like, the 2nd of October. It was cold, and I was at home. I had to call my mom, like, Mommy, they're saying your adopted baby is gone. Mama's like, Trust? I'm like, yeah, he's gone. She couldn't believe it. She thought I was going to call back and say, I was joking. She kept on calling me back. I'm like, Mommy, he's gone. And I remember, like, I walked out. The only thing I remember, like, when I now, like, came to reality, I was outside, like, far from home. And I was going towards Lopengla West, where he stays. I stay in Kovalat. And I was now feeling cold. I had to go back. I'm like, no, I can't go and see his mom like this. Let me go back home. Let me allow them to get to understand what's going on, and then I'll go and see them. And then I just went back home. Like, I couldn't believe it. The whole week, until after I was buried, I couldn't believe it. But then I learned to live with the new reality. But even up to today, I keep on sending messages to him. Like, there are times where I just want to talk with him because there are things that I could only tell him. So I keep sending messages to him. Even before I came here, I sent a message to his number, like, I've got this thing that is happening today. I wish you were here just to advise me on 1 or 2 things. Because that's how I've learned to cope with the situation.
So when you lost trust, what did you lose?
I lost a brother. I know it's weird when you tell people you lost a part of you. But I did. Because he was like that person that at least he knew me more than me. Most of the times I couldn't do things without telling him first. I had to tell him first, like, you know what, my friend, something like this is going on. If it were you, what would you do? And he would advise me very well most of the times.
Okay. Thank you for being candid and honest about your story. Please stay tuned as we wait for the final segment. Welcome back to the third and final segment of Painful Goodbyes. I'm with Jackie. She's been talking about a very sad experience of losing a friend and never seeing the signs, and just waking up in the morning and you find there's this message and there's this call that says, trust is gone. And now when you were coming to the studio, you sent a message to him. Definitely you know that he's not reading that message. Let's talk about that as a therapeutic exercise.
I think it actually became my coping mechanism.
Okay.
I never deleted his number. I never even changed the way it was saved before, because it has always been saved as my friendship.
Okay.
So each time I go through something or I need his advice, even though I know he's not going to reply or say anything, I'll just write my problem to him.
Okay.
Like, my friend, something like this and this and this and this is happening. I only wish you were here so you could help me to navigate this thing or help me to find a solution to this thing. It actually helps me, I'd say. Just that feeling or that thought that I spoke with him, it helps me to get by.
And who else has actually helped you? Because you are emptying onto his inbox, kind of offloading whatever is burdening you, but there should be someone that's physical. There's a child who was saying, I want someone with a face. And don't talk about Jesus, but I need somebody with a face. So somebody with a face that you've been talking to.
Most of the times when I face a situation, I pray about it. And then I was lucky, you know, my mom kept on checking on me.
Okay.
Every time she'll go to work, she'll call. And then I remember this one time she came home and I was crying. Like, after his burial, I was always crying. I was crying. One of my friends who stays close by came to see me. She was like, Jackie, you can't do this to yourself. You can't be crying. Others just told her, I'm still trying to get to understand why would you do this. And then my mom came in and she's like, what's going on? And I was crying. And she's like, call Mtu. She's one of our mutual friends with trust. She was like, call Mtu. I called him. As soon as my friend answered, I started crying again. And then I gave my mom the phone. And then my mom was like, you guys, you need to be there for Jake, because this thing that she's doing is going to make her sick. So Duna started to check up on me time and again. He'll check up on me. And then my mom was like, you have to go for therapy. I went for therapy for 3 weeks.
Okay.
I went for therapy, but then most of the times in therapy, I was crying. But I think it really helped because I managed to grieve. I was always like crying. And then my other 2 friends I came from church, Linda and Namtandazo, they were also with me when we went for the burial. Those ones, time and again, they were checking up on me. So it really helped me a lot. And the fact that after he passed on, they created this group just for us to talk about him. I think it helped a lot to understand that he was everyone's person, because people talk, you know, this one will come for us, you know, when we were depressed, they'll give us advices and stuff like that. And I'm like, at least he left a legacy behind. Everyone has a good memory of him, which was actually good.
Talking about your crying, and from a psychological perspective, people really don't want people to cry. I mean, people who are grieving to cry, the bereaved to cry. What would you say about crying and its therapeutic effects?
Crying is actually a good way of dealing with the situation. A few days back, my friend lost her grandfather. I told her straight up, Bushe, just cry. If you need to cry, cry. Don't even put that up, because people have a lot of anger because they've got that undealt situations within themselves where they're supposed to cry and they're told, no, you're a man, you have to be strong. And then when someone now starts acting out, we are saying, oh, you've got anger issues, whereas we are the ones who instilled that thing on them. We should have allowed that person to be emotional about what they were going through. Crying is very therapeutic. I'd advise, if you feel like crying, even if you don't want to cry in public, just find like a place where you can cry, just grieve, because it's also good for your heart. Because the more you have this thing that is bothering you, that's why I end up having PP, because we've got undealt issues. So if you feel like crying, you should cry.
What hurtful words that were well meant, maybe that came to you as a source of consolation when people were trying to help, but then they came across as negative?
I remember this one person the day trust passed on, and they're like, we know he was selfish about it, you know, but obviously we don't want you to cry. We might never know what would have happened. Maybe you missed a few things along the way. It's not your fault. If God didn't want it to happen, it wasn't going to happen, but it has already happened. So just learn with the new reality. Just accept the new reality. That was painful. That was painful for me. I didn't even understand, like, you should have just kept quiet.
Kept quiet. So silence was more important in this regard.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So what would you say to someone who has lost somebody through suicide? And that would be your final words.
Don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself. Sometimes you may not even see the signs at all. Like, you think that person is okay. They might even share jokes to you, and then the next minute they are calling. It's not your fault, like they'll say. Don't blame yourself. Don't try to go back to the charts, try to pinpoint, maybe here, maybe I should have said this, or maybe I should have done this. It would have happened one way or another.
Thank you very much for being candid and open and being vulnerable enough to share your story. For me, Skombozo Duve and Jacqueline Nkomo and the crew behind the scenes, it's a wrap.